you in great detail about the 5 success and money steps for financial freedom. Our goal is to help you make a huge difference in your life. Now, as you think about your life and you think about your position in life and what you're supposed to be doing in life, I've traveled all over the world and I have seen a lot of things. And the one thing that I know for sure is that parents want to have a better life for themselves and for their children. My grandparents wanted a better life for my parents. My parents wanted a better life for us kids. I've been all over the world. I've been to 50 countries. Many countries I've been to multiple times. I've been all over. Pretty much every place I want to go except for South America. And that's still on the list. I've been many places and I've helped people. I've got involved in a lot of nonprofit organizations where we make loans to women to help them start small businesses because what they need is they need to make more money. They need to make more money so that they can get their kids in school. They say that's how the other half lives. Well, that's not really true. The vast majority of people do not have a very good living conditions. And mothers, especially, the fathers are out there doing the best that they can, but in many cases, they're not doing a very good job. Moms are trying to take care of their kids and give their kids a better life, better food, get them into school. Because if you don't go to school in many countries, they come looking for you. But in many countries, they don't. There's just too many of them. Every life is precious. Every life has a spirit and a soul just like you. And our goal is to help you have a better life and to help you have your family a better life and your friends and coworkers and other people. There are systems, there are strategies, there are techniques that you can do to have a better life. There are systems that are out there. You just need to know what they are. And so that's the purpose of the Success and Money Foundation. The Success and Money Foundation was designed and created to help you have a better life, to help you have a better life for your children, and to help you have a better life for those around you. Now, the way we do that is providing free Success and Money classes for anyone, anywhere. That's our purpose, is to provide free Success and Money classes for anyone, anywhere. Now, we have 3 missions. Mission number 1 is to provide financial rewards for students for going to classes, live classes, in-person classes, online classes, and to provide financial rewards to help you get started. And our goal is to have you get that into long-term investments because that's the one thing that will make the biggest difference in your life. And some of you are a little bit older and maybe it's not going to have as big of an impact, but it sure will on your kids and your grandkids. And to get long-term investing, it's the one piece of the puzzle that people are missing. They're making money and sometimes they're saving money, but they're not getting their money to grow. You have to do that. So that's mission number 1. Mission number 2 is to provide financial rewards and donations to schools, churches, charities, groups, and teams. Now, when you enroll someone, when you share your link with someone, they're part of your group. Your job, your calling is to help persuade them and teach them the simple strategies so that they can have a better life. And we're doing this with schools and churches and charities and groups and teams. But when you sign somebody up there, they can be in 2 groups. Group number 1 is your group. And when you go to the leaderboards, you can pull it down to the top enrollers and you can go down, find your name, and you can see all the people you've enrolled and how many hours they've been online, how many hours that they're going to class studying successful people. The foundation is supported by best-selling authors, educators, and entrepreneurs. These people have dedicated their secrets to help you. That's mission number 2. And mission number 2 is that if you have a group, we can put you in groups so that you can compete with others. We have schools all over the world that are competing with each other. Inside the schools, the grades compete with each other. But inside those grades, the students compete with each other, who compete with everybody around the world at the same time. Mission number 3. Mission number 3 is to help those in need. For every hour you're in class, the donation is going to donate a pair of eyeglasses. We're going to feed someone, or we're going to provide some gallons of clean water, and many, many other things that the foundation and our family is going to help with. That's our mission. That's what we do. I talk about our story and how the foundation came about. Well, you have to connect the dots going backwards. And if you connect the dots going backwards, I can see what's happened in my life. There's some times that I really remember that made a huge difference in my life. One of those days was I was helping my dad. We were painting and sanding and scraping off the old paint off of a house that was next door to the house where I grew up in. And it was hot and I wasn't having any fun. I says, Dad, can I get paid? And he goes, No, son, get back to work. And he could see that wasn't quite the answer I was looking for. Now, I'm one of 10 kids. My dad was really busy. If you ever want to talk to my dad, you just needed to go and do whatever he was doing because he was usually working, trying to make it work. So I asked him later, Dad, you sure I can't get paid? And he goes, You know what, son? We bought this house so it would provide some extra income and an asset so that we could put your kids through college. Now, being a teenager, early teen, I didn't really care that much about college at that point, and he could see that wasn't quite my answer that I was looking for. So a little bit later, he looked at me and said, Tom, some people make so much money off their small businesses, their investments, that they don't have a job. They make money off their real estate. They make money off their small businesses. They make money off their investments. They don't have a job. All they do is manage those things. Wow. My dad had planted a seed that started to nourish in me. Now, I learned a lot of things from money from a lot of people, but another time I had a lady that was in our neighborhood. This lady was a good neighbor. She had very bad health, and she was the elementary school librarian. She was on crutches. She didn't make very much money. Her husband had passed away early. He was like in his 30s, and she was a widow. But she did something very interesting. She gave 5 of us kids in the neighborhood, maybe 6 kids. No, probably 5. Yep, 5 kids. A $2 bill. Now, this was 50 years ago. Now, a $2 bill back then was about the equivalent of a $20 today or more. For us to start thinking about long-term saving, investing, college, marriage, service, to service other people and to help other people. And then she gave us something very interesting. She gave us 20 cents to give away. That was 10%. Later, she came back and said she didn't give us enough money and she gave us an extra 2 cents, 22 cents. So she actually rounded up. Now, this is the first time an outsider, somebody outside our family, had agreed with the things that my dad and mom were teaching us and that my grandparents were teaching us. This was an outsider. This was somebody else, but they agreed with what my parents were saying. And that really struck me. And, connect the dots going forward, the foundation has taken that idea of the 22 cents and we've multiplied it millions of times. We've given millions and millions of dollars away to help those in need. But the seed was planted 50 years ago. Now, this lady passed away many years ago. I happened to be a pallbearer with those kids that were in that neighborhood with me because she only had one daughter, and we were the pallbearers at her funeral. And she has no idea. She probably does. I'm sure she's in heaven smiling. She has no idea of the impact of doing that one thing to a young teenage boy would have on so many people. Now, my parents taught me about charity work. They taught me about giving. And I learned an awful lot from them. I learned an awful lot from many mentors like Robert Allen. Robert Allen taught me about giving at a very young age. Mark Victor Hansen, the Chicken Soup of the Soul guy, every one of their books, they give money away to different charities depending on which book that they have. So they do a lot of that. So they're very giving. It's a spiritual law, but it's a business law too. You'll find that the people that are the most giving, the most helpful, the ones that are trying to help the most people are the ones that are most successful. Now, never judge a successful person by the car they drive or the house they live in, because that's just a facade. The most successful people, the ones that have the most wealth, and wealth is their investments making them money, usually don't spend the money on a new car and spend it all in a car and a fancy car and a fancy watch and a fancy house. Those people are usually broke. It's the millionaire next door that you don't really know it is that way because they've been saving and investing over a lifetime. That's what you want to be. That's what you want to be. Now, the Success Money Foundation was designed and created to help you have a better life. More importantly, it was designed to help you help those that you love have a better life. My wife and I and our family have donated millions and millions of dollars to different organizations. And about 9 years ago, we created the Painter Family Foundation, which is also the DBA of Success Money Foundation.org. 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago, I decided that I could go build another big business, or I could do something that was really illogical, which is to create the foundation. And my wife and I talked about it. And I had the chance of taking over a big organization and do really well with it. And I decided, no, I've got 10 good years, I think, hopefully a lot more than that, to go build this. And so we went to work. We donated $3 million into the foundation. We did that with real estate. The money that's in the foundation was not money that was given to us. It was money that was earned by doing the things we're teaching you. I bought millions and millions of dollars worth of real estate. One of the properties that we put into the foundation, I bought in 1982 or 83, and I'd owned it for dang near 40 years. I bought it for $60,000. And when we put it in the foundation, it was worth $490,000. Made a huge, huge impact. Berkshire Hathaway stock, big believers in long-term stock. So we donated in one day $1 million in Berkshire Hathaway stock. It was fun. I transferred it out of our account into the foundation account in one day, gave $1 million for the Berkshire Hathaway stock away in a day. That was fun. But you might be asking, well, why is he giving all this money away? Well, number one is that it's the right thing to do. And number two is that I learned these strategies and techniques and I put them to work. I did the things that we're teaching you. This is not something that's made up. This is for real. That little fourplex I bought that, in the early 80s. I started buying more properties, started fixing them up, started on my way because my dad taught me about real estate, but also I went to a seminar. I learned this from my friend Robert Allen. Now, he wasn't my friend back then. I didn't even know who he was. But I went to one of his seminars and I had to kind of talk my way in because I didn't have enough money to get in. It's kind of a funny story, but the first person had to pay full price and the second person got in for half price. And my brother was going to go. And so I was going to let him pay the full price. And then I was going to do the half price. Well, about the night before, he said something had come up and he's not able to go. So I really wanted to go to this event. So I went up by myself. And I got to know the lady checking us in and made friends with her and kind of helped her because I knew that I might get kicked out, probably going to get kicked out. And well, at noon of the first day, the lady called him and says, your brother didn't come. And I go, yeah, that's a possibility. And apparently he didn't show up, which is true. Says you're gonna have to pay full price because your brother's not here. And I go, well, I don't have the money. And she says, well, you probably not able to stay then. You got to pay the full price for it. And I didn't have the money. But outside in my car, I had my physics books and my psychology book from college. And I literally went outside, grabbed my books and came back and said, I'm going to college. I don't have the money. I'd really like to stay. Can't we create a student discount price? She said, after a little bit of persuading, she said, sure, we can do that. And as a result, I was able to stay. Now, the one thing I learned more than anything else in that 2-day event, it was that it was possible. I had very little life experience. And the one thing I learned that it was possible. So I studied, I asked questions, and I started trying to find people to hang out with that was doing it. Because I wanted to change my stars. I grew up in a pretty humble, but a very wonderful home, loving parents, Wonderful experience growing up. Very good. But I wanted more. I needed more. Wanted to be able to play this game and have some fun with it. And luckily, I found out that Robert Allen, was actually living in the same city that I was going to college in. And I found their address did some research and found the address of their office and went to their office and asked them for a job. Not because I wanted to work and get a job. I wanted to hang out with people who were doing it. I told them I'd work for free if they would give me a chance. And one day they says, we need somebody to go out on a little trip. And I says, I'm your guy. And basically they gave me some audio tapes and thanked me for going, which was great, which is what the agreement was. But I got a chance to start hanging out with these people. And as I got to hang out with those, they worked with other people. And I got to meet people that were doing this. My friend Nick Kuhn had bought and sold over 1,100 houses. And I got to hang out with him and understand how he did it. Wade Cook taught me about contracts and seller financing. I learned a lot of these from my dad, but then he helped me to fine tune it and understand it more. John Childers, all these wonderful people taught me about things because they were doing it and they wanted to give back. And so this is where I learned these things. This is where you're getting this information from. The foundation is supported by best-selling authors, educators, and entrepreneurs. And all of us are all of those. You are all of those. You're an educator. You're an entrepreneur. And you might not be a best-selling author, but you're an author because you're teaching, you're authoring things. Now, in order to be financially independent, you need a why. Well, my why happened when I had a heart attack when I was 34 years of age. And as they were wheeling me into the operating room, I remember looking over at my wife and wondering if I was coming back. You see, 1/3 of the people who have a heart attack die. They die on the way and they're just gone. I was lucky. And through that experience, I knew I had to make some serious changes. As a result, I really went to work. But the one thing that scared me more than anything else was I was going to take care of these 2 special needs young children that I had. Now, I was lucky. I have no idea why God left me on this earth. I think part of it was to raise those children who are now adults. Another one was to be able to help and learn from that and to pass that on to the next generation. Talking to my wife, well, there's not very many people that are doing what we're doing. So I knew that I needed to be able to make some changes, and I needed to make some money to help take care of these 2 special needs kids. And so I went to work and I started studying and doing things, and I started starting little businesses and small businesses and turned them into big businesses. I started doing network marketing. I started buying and selling and flipping real estate. I did all the things that we teach in the foundation. We did all those things. And fast forward today, my kids are taken care of. But the one thing we really wanted to do is we wanted to give back, and that's why we created the foundation. Now, something really happened to me that was really a motivator to really get that going is that we found out that my son had autism, severe autism. And one of the motivators was that I wanted him to have a better life. And I didn't think the government was going to take care of this boy and his little sister, younger sister. So I was sitting down with Robert Allen one day and I asked Bob, I told him what my problem was because we had found a program for him. Now, autism today was very different than it was 30 years ago. Very few people had a name for it or any way to take care of it. And I found a program that was $40,000 and I'd have to relocate up to UCLA in Los Angeles. Quit my job, find a new job, take him up there and get him into this program. Well, that's like $160,000 to $200,000 today. And we just didn't have that kind of capital. And then I was sitting down and talking to my friend Robert Allen. I says, Bob, this is what my problem is. And he says, Tom, what you need to do is you need to figure out how to make so much money that you can put your child in whatever program you want and never regret spending the money. Wow. He gave me permission to spend money on my kid to have my child have a better life. Now, every one of you have people in your world that you want to help have a better life. Every one of you. Just look around you. All of us have people that we want to help. And so that was a big motivator to get that going. Now, as we talk to people in the foundation, I want to give you kind of a step by step of what you need to do to change your world. You give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, but if you give him a fishing pole or sell him a fishing pole and you teach him how to fish, you can feed him for a lifetime. But if you can teach him how to teach, you can change a whole generation. You can change a generation of their family, and they can change a generation of other families. That's the purpose of it. So when we donated the $3 million into the foundation, we had a decision to make. Do we take this money and put it and give it to Facebook for advertising, for ads? Or do we give it to the students? Now, mission number one, as we really defined what the mission of the foundation was to give out financial rewards to students for attending online classes and sharing with others, and to put the stock into your long-term investment account. Not short-term, it's long-term. Because that's teaching you how to fish. It's not giving you a fish. We're teaching you how to fish. We're teaching you how to make that work. And the one thing that every adult's ever agreed with me on is that they wish they would have started earlier. Now, for you, this is what you have to do. If you truly want to change your stars, if you truly need to make a difference in your world, it's really 5 steps. The 5 steps are very simple. Now, the reason I got it down to 5 steps was it was much more than that to begin with. But teaching my special needs children about money, I had to simplify it. And guess what? The simpler your system, the better you are. Simplify and multiply. Simplify and multiply. So if you want to change your stars, you need to do these 5 steps. And these 5 steps are in on the website. They're actually, I'm giving you stock just for going through those classes, because my ultimate goal is to have you open up an investment account. We're going to gift you stock. I was a teenager. I had my own stock account, and I can still see a picture of myself laying on the floor watching TV, looking at the stock market, looking at these companies and trying to understand them, because they all, which ones were making money and why did they make money? Because it's a game and games are fun. So there's 5 steps, and here's what you have to do. And you have to do them in this order. Step number 1, you need to learn how to make more money. You really do. The economies of the world, the governments of the world can't balance their budget. They are spending more money than they're bringing in taxes. And it's in the trillions, but they're spending more money than they're bringing in. Now, as a result, what do? They borrow more money from other people and other countries, and they're in debt. Their credit card is going up. And in the United States, we owe $35 trillion. Now, they also have assets behind that, but they're paying a lot of interest on that as well. So we need to teach you how to make more money, because the governments of the world are printing more money. That means we have inflation. Inflation is when things cost more. If you go back and think about what things cost 10 years ago or 20 years ago, when I was a kid mowing lawns to make some extra money, gas was 25 cents a gallon. Well, now it's 10 times that to 20 times that, depending on where you are in the world. It's gone up 15 times, 1,500%. Things are going to be more expensive. Now, when all the governments of the world start balancing their budgets and start paying down their debt, then we'll have a different strategy. But until that time, this is what's happening. And the way that you're getting crushed is the mathematical. You're not making enough money, and the cost of living has gone up. So step number 1 is to learn how to make more money. Step number 5 is to save and spend. And that's what most people do. All they do is step number 1 and number 5, and you're going to get crushed. You're going to get crushed because the governments of the world can't balance their budget. Because they can't balance their budget, they are printing more money, which means everything is more expensive. Now, if you own assets, we appreciate it. We call it appreciation. We appreciate that they're going up and more expensive. But if you don't, then it's called inflation. So step number 1 is you need to learn how to make more money. Now, money's a game and games are fun. So let's have some fun with it. Now, how do you win the game? How do you win the game of making more money? Well, a little while ago, we were playing a card game with my twin granddaughters. They're only 10 years old. maybe even only 9. They're just young. And we're playing this card game, and I'm getting my butt kicked. They're winning all the time, and it was a fun game, but they knew the rules. They knew the strategies. They knew the system because they'd played the game, and they were kicking my trash. I go jump on a video game with my kids, and I just get my butt kicked. Why? Because they played the game. They know how to win the game. They know the secrets. And if you know the secrets, you know the strategies, you can win the game. If you don't, you are not going to win. So the 5 steps, the way that you learn how to make more money is, number 1, you need to study successful people. You study successful people and then you do what they do. Now, my dad is 4 days older than Warren Buffett. I had a mini Warren Buffett as a father. Now, my dad didn't make the money that Warren Buffett has made. All Warren Buffett's done is added zeros and commas. But my dad was down to earth and he taught us these things. And he taught us by example. My dad and mom got married 1930, right when the World War was, when there was the economic depression, the stock market had crashed. And there's no reasons why that happened. It wasn't the stock market that crashed. It was the credit that dried up that made the problems. And they started a family. And they grew up during the Depression. They grew up during World War II. And that was really, really kind of an issue. So, the reason I'm telling you that is because you need to understand where people are coming from. Now, you need to study successful people and you need to do what they do. Number 2 is you need to solve bigger problems. Money's a game and games are fun. Making money is a game and games are fun. Making money at your job is a game and games are fun. We're not curing cancer, we're playing a game. And if you know the rules, just like my twin granddaughters, you're going to win. But you need to know the rules. You need to study other people and learn how they do it and then do what they do. That's the key. You need to solve bigger problems. You need to solve bigger problems. My next door neighbor is a neurosurgeon. He's done 2 back surgeries on me. And he did those before I lived next door to him. He makes more money than a regular doctor, who makes more money than a nurse, who makes more money than the receptionist, who makes more money than a janitor. Why? Because he's solving bigger problems. Your job is to go towards problems and solve problems. And guess what? You're not going to know how to solve them, but you know how to get people that know how to solve them. Your job is a connector. Just go connect the right people that can help you learn how to solve those problems. Get the great, smart people together and then get out of their way. That's the key. That's how you do that. You need to solve bigger problems and you need to add more value. You need to add more value than the next guy. Now, that doesn't mean you have to spend more money on it, but you have to add more value. You need to be more valuable than your competition. If you're selling something and somebody in the next booth is selling the same stuff, well, you're on the same ground. But if you can add something to make it more valuable, then you'll probably sell more. So step number 1 is to make more money. Step number 2, you need to separate your money. You need systems. Now, when I say separate it, some of you are going, well, that's really simple. Well, guess what? Every one of you, everyone that you see, everyone you meet is going to make, manage, and spend money. They're going to make it. They're going to manage it. Even if they manage it poorly, even if they don't managing it, they're managing it badly. And they're going to spend money. That's one thing all of us have in common. Now, some people do very, very well because they've learned how to manage it and they've learned how to make it grow. I've known people that worked as a janitor that didn't really make much money, but they saved and they invested. They invested. And nobody knew they had any money. And when they passed away, they donated millions and millions of dollars to different charities. Not how much money you make. And I don't really care where you spend it. What I care about is long-term investing. Now, number 2 is to separate it. Now, the reason for the separation is that you need to understand where your money's going. Now, most of you are going to make, manage, and spend between $1 and $10 million if you just have a job. But many of you are going to have small businesses. My businesses that I've been the chief executive officer in, or a partner in, or a stakeholder in, some way attached to it, we've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. We had to have systems to keep track of that because you want to make mathematical decisions, not emotional decisions. Emotional decisions help you get it done, but the logic side, You need to turn it into math as easy as you can, because I understand math. It's very easy. Number three, you got to give some of it away. You just got to give some of it away. It's a spiritual law, but it's also a business law. Now, some of you don't have the cash to give away, so give away your time, give away your energy, give away your smile. You got to give, and you got to give to other people. Number four is the most important part, is to automatically invest. Automatically invest, automatically invest, automatically invest. If I was in an elevator with you and I only had 30 seconds to tell you what to do, I would tell you make more money and take a percentage of that money and invest it in long-term investments every month. You need to do automatic investing. Now, how much? As much as you can. 5%, 10%, 20%, depends on how much you want to have. And the sooner you do that, the better off you're going to be. That's step number four. Number five is to save and spend. Now, you'll notice I put save and spend in the same category, because the save part is for emergencies. You're never going to make any money in your savings account. When you put money in the bank, you're loaning money to the bank. With inflation, your money is losing money. It's good you got it. It's wonderful you got it, but it's not beating inflation. You've got to beat inflation. You've got to make more money with your money. That's why save and spend is in the same category and automatically invest. Now, how are you going to do all of this? Well, the foundation was created to help you get started. So let's talk about how to make more money. Make more money is number one. Where do you go? You simply go to the successmoneyfoundation.org. You get a free membership, and hopefully a friend has shared their link with you. When you do that, our purpose is to help you get started. The way you get started is we need to get you an investment account. Now, you can do it wherever you want. We have nothing to do with that part. We're just giving the money away. We're giving the stock away. You need to get an investment account open. Now, to make more money, you need to go to the site and study successful people. Now, we want to get you started. So when you go, you can sign up and then go to number two, the courses. And underneath number courses, the first thing is to watch the Share the Wealth and Win video. We know by experience that if you share your link with someone and they watch the Share the Wealth and Win video, which is an overview of what's in the website, the likelihood that they will go through more classes just climb dramatically. If you just give somebody a membership and then just walk away, they're not going to do it because they don't understand it and they don't get what it is. But if you can get them to watch that, then the likelihood that they'll start going through many classes goes up dramatically. So we want to put money into your investment account. We want to give you cash, prizes, and stock. That's our financial rewards. So when you do that and you share your link, we're going to help you both win. So when you watch it, many of you haven't watched it yet. You need to go watch it. Go to number two, courses, then number one, which is to watch the Share the Wealth and Win video. We're going to put money into your vault. And then when you get at least $10 in your vault, then we're going to literally transfer our stock to your investment account. We're going to give you Warren Buffett stock. Now, why Warren Buffett stock? Well, because in step number four, automatically invest. Step number four is to automatically invest. There's four ways that you can invest in the stock market. Number one is to pick and choose. But if you pick and choose, you lose. If you pick and choose, you lose. You don't know when to buy, you don't know when to sell, and by the time you hear in the news, it's probably too late. So we don't recommend that. Number two is you can give it to someone as a mutual fund that manages it for you. Now, the only negative to that is that they're picking and choosing. They'll do a better job than you will, but they're going to charge you a fee. And that fee, sometimes we call it money under management. You got to dig to find out how much it is. I don't care what their big print says. I want you to dig in the small print. You're going to find it's going to be 1% to 2%. So if you make 6% a year on your investments and they take 2 of it, well, they just took 30% of your profit. Number three is an index fund. An index fund is like the S&P 500, the 500 biggest companies in America. They're all in a big pool. And when you invest in the S&P 500, it's called SPY, SPY is the symbol. You own a little bit of all 500 of these companies. And over time, they've done very well. Now, no one's making decisions of when to buy and when to sell. These companies that are doing the index funds, they just say, okay, these are the 500 biggest companies, and so that's the pool. So they're not making decisions. As a result, the fee structure is dramatically less. That's the third way, which is by investing in the S&P 500. Number 4 is Berkshire Hathaway stock. Now, the reason we really like Berkshire Hathaway stock is because it's a stock. When you buy it, when you invest in it, you pay a small commission, but you'll pay a commission just about any time you buy any kind of a stock. But there's no money under management. So you're not paying a yearly fee. They're not taking a yearly cut of your stuff. So if all of them did the same rate of return, they all did 6%, well, you're going to keep all 6%. If it's in Berkshire Hathaway, you're going to keep 5.5% of it. If it's in the S&P 500, you're going to keep about 4% of it, 5 to 4% of it. If it's in a mutual fund, then pick and choose. Who knows what's going to happen? Pick and choose. The vast majority of you will lose. Okay. So that's why we're giving our Berkshire Hathaway stock away. And one day, my wife and I donated $1 million of our Berkshire Hathaway stock into the foundation. It was a fun day. It was a fun day making that big donation. It was great. It was fun. And now we're giving that to you. We're taking our money trees. We're taking those seeds in our big old orchard and we're giving them to you so you can start your own orchard. And we're giving you a little tree to get you going. Now, you've got to learn how to make more money. And you do that 2 ways. You do it with your job. So we're back up to number 1 now, which is you've got to learn how to make more money. Now, the way you make more money is the biggest way, the vast majority of you are going to do it is with your job. Now, many of you are not making nearly enough money at your job. Why? Because you're not solving big enough problems. You need to find bigger problems and then go solve them. Many of you think you're stuck. Well, this is where I'm on my career and I'm stuck. Well, many of you need to find a different career. Many of you need to find a bigger problem to go solve. You need to learn how to do that. So when you go to the courses section over number 2 courses, then pull it down to all classes. We have all kinds of classes on how to get a raise, how to negotiate for a raise, how to find a better job, how to make more money at your job. You need to study those people have done it and do the same thing because you need to. Your job is probably one of the greatest wealth producing things you have. Now, when you're working at your job, many companies have a retirement account that they work with. In America, we call it a 401k, and they have something similar in all kinds of areas where you live. If they have a retirement account for you and they are matching it, so in America, an employer, and I've had thousands of employees. So we set up what we call the 401k. And as our employees were with us, we would match a percentage of their salary. So if they made $100, we would match 3%. And we put $3 into their investment account. So if they made $100,000, then we put $3,000 in their investment account. And then they could match that. So, but they had to put the money in first. So whatever they put in, we matched. So if they put in the 3,000, then we put in the 3,000. If they didn't do anything, then we didn't really do anything in it because we wanted them to own it and be part of that. So that's the first place you're going to go. If somebody's matching it, make sure you match it and put as much money there as you can, as long as they're matching it. The second place that you're going to put your money into a second retirement account in America is called a Roth IRA. Now, they have different names for them for different places around the world. The Roth IRA was named after a congressman, Congressman Roth. And the Roth IRA, you don't get any tax benefits today, but guess what? When you take the money out later, you pay no tax on any of it. The money you put in or the growth, and the growth can be massive. And you never have to pay any taxes on it. The disadvantage of the 401k is that when you pull it out, now you've doubled your money because your employer matched it. You have to pay taxes at the higher rate. So get all the money you can in the 401k. Number 2, get the money into your Roth. Number 3 is to put it into a regular investment account. I'm sorry. Number 3 is to put them into a regular IRA, individual retirement account. You get a tax break today, but you have to pay taxes when you pull it out. And you're going to pay that. The problem is you're going to pay that at high rates. And so many people just skip that and just go right to an investment account. That's how you're going to get your money to make money on the long term. The second way that you're going to do things besides your job is you're going to create some small businesses. This is all part of number 1. You're going to create some small businesses. Now, all of you have a place to live. You're living somewhere. You're either living with your family, you're living on your own, you're renting, or whatever you're doing. And our goal is to help you to have a better life and to figure out how to make money with your real estate. If you are going to have real estate, if you're going to live in a place in real estate, learn how to make money off of it. Now, there's all kinds of ways to make money off of real estate. Number one, you can save a ton of money if you simply understand how interest works and how mortgages work. So if you have a home and you live in a home, there's 3 ways that you can save 20 to 30% on the price of that on that home. And those are all part of the classes that we teach. So you go to courses, then go down to the real estate section. You go to the 5 Steps to Financial Freedom book. You go through the Earn While You Learn, the 5 Steps class. Let's not go into that, but in great detail in the other courses. Now, when you own a home and you are paying interest on that home, there's 3 things you can do. Number one is you can buy it for less money. Now, the way you buy something for less money is you got to go look. You got to write offers. Out of 100 properties that are out there for sale, only 3 fit our criteria, because I'm not doing it the same way other people are. 97% of the people want their cash, they want their terms, and they're willing to wait till they get them. I'm looking for the 3% that are flexible. And guess what? This is how the big guys do it. I do my investing with groups, and I'm just a little guy in these groups, but they do $100 million deals, massive deals. And it's the same thing. They're looking for that 3% out of 100. Now, your job is to find that home for less money. The way you do that is you look. You write offers. You write an offer. When you write an offer, the seller has to say, yes, I'll take it. No, I won't, or I want something else. Most of them are not going to do that. You're going to have to write 8 or 9 offers to get one accepted. If you get your first offer accepted, you didn't get a very good deal. If you're getting 1 out of 5 accepted, you're not getting a great deal. You should be turned down 8 or 9 times. Now, my purpose for buying this real estate is different than yours. My purpose is to make money off of it. If you just want to buy a home and live in the home and that's all you want to do, great. You don't fall in love with the property. You fall in love with the deal until you've done enough of these. You flipped them, you moved up, you sold it, fixed it up, sold it, made money, rolled it to the next one, rolled it to the next one. Well, now my wife and I are in our dream home, and we've moved, throughout our lifetime, probably 14 times. So we're in this massive, beautiful home, and we're going to be here till they put me in a casket, I'm sure, a rest home. But that's the one thing, you got to buy it for less money. Now, if you buy them for less money, you're going to save a bundle, just a massive amount of money. Number 2 is you need to pay your bills on time. If you pay your bills on time, people are willing to loan you money at better rates. Okay, you don't have to go into debt and make payments on things. Now, if you can get a credit card, if you have a credit card, you set it up so that it automatically pays at the due date. You don't send the money and you automatically pay. If you want to build your credit and you do have a credit card, which I don't recommend you do, but if you do, set it up on automatic so that it pays automatically. In the millions and millions of dollars in real estate that we bought, all of our payments are automatic. Everything was automatic because we never wanted to be late, never want to pay a late fee, and we want to have a good credit rating with everybody. Now, if you can save money on interest, that's a huge amount of money that you're going to save. Number 3 is you need to pay it off faster. Most companies want to put you on a 30-year loan. Why? Because it's all interest. You're going to pay a ton of interest in that first 10, 15 years. It's all interest. If you increase your payment and you pay it off faster, 15 or 20 years, you're going to save a bundle. You're going to save a bundle and a massive amount. So you do 3 things. You buy it for less. Number 2 is you get a better interest rate. Number 3 is you pay it off faster. Now, if you'll do that, you're going to save 20 to 30% on that property. Now, I bought millions and millions of dollars for the real estate. So the homes we live in, we're the ones making the payments, which isn't that fun. But all my rest of my real estate were rental units. We either flipped the properties or we made them in rentals. Guess what? Who's making the payments? The guy who's renting it's making the payments. And so we donated millions of dollars to the foundation in our real estate. How do we do that? Well, we bought it, we held it, we rented it out, the renters paid it off, and we took that free and clear real estate because it went up, it doubled in value, and all the loans got paid off because the renters paid us. And we took that money and we donated it to the foundation. We also kept some of it. Some of it we'll use for our family, and some of it we'll donate to the foundation in the future. And we made about $10 million doing that. So that's how you're going to do it with real estate. Some of the real estate you can do, you're going to find a little property, you're going to fix it up, and you're going to flip it. Why? Because you got to start building up your cash. So you can have more cash to play with. You got more chips on the table. You got more cards. Now, some of you have been dealt some pretty crappy cards in the game of life. You've been dealt some pretty crappy cards. Well, guess what? I've been all over the world and I understand the cards people have been dealt, but you can trade your cards in. If you go out in the marketplace, if you study successful people and you do what they do, and you go out there and make a difference, you can trade your bad card and trade it for a better card. So if somebody discards a really good card on the table and you got a bad card in your hand, well, discard your crappy card and pick up a new card. The game of life, you can change your cards, you can change your stars, you really can. And that's what our goal is. Now, you're going to do that with real estate. You're going to do that with products. There's 5 things. You're going to find it, you're going to fund it, you're going to fix it, and then you're either going to farm it or flip it. You're going to find really good deals. 3 out of 100 makes sense. Now, if you just want to make okay deals, well, then then don't be so picky. But I'm picky. I like to make money. That's the game. You need to fund it. Now, funding it doesn't mean you got to come up with all the cash. What it means is that you got to find a partner, or you need to put it on consignment or an option. All the products in the bookstore doesn't own that product. They just sell it. Uber doesn't own any cars. They just do the financing on it. They just do the transactions on it. Big hotel chains, Marriott Hotels doesn't own the real estate. They just rent it on a monthly basis and rent it to you on a nightly basis. Okay. You need to find a partner. You need to take it on consignment and then turn around and fix it. What's wrong with the property? Well, or the product or the car or whatever it is. It could be the product itself. It could be the physical product, or it could be the seller. The seller might have a problem. Find out how to fix it. Then you're either going to flip it for a higher price and flip it to somebody else, sell it to somebody else, resell it to somebody else. I've done that many, many times. Or you're going to farm it. You're going to keep it for long term. You're going to build a long-term money tree out of it. Now, you can do that. And guess what? Guess where you're going to put all that money? You're going to put it down into number 4. You're going to put it down into your long-term investing. The wealth formula is you take money on a monthly basis. Money on a monthly basis times have a go up in value times time equals wealth. The more money you can get into step number 4, I don't care how much money you make. I don't care where you spend it. All I care about is that you figure out how to get as much money into step number 4 as possible. The wealth formula, monthly investments times have them go up in value faster than inflation. Times time. How long does it take to double an asset? Well, the rule of 72 says you take the number 72 and you divide the appreciation or the interest in it. So if you take 72 and your investments are going up 6% a year, well, 6 into 72 takes 12 times, so it's 12 years. If your investments are going up 3% a year, then it takes 24 years. 3 times 24 equals 72. So the goal is to be able to take your money, make it grow. So all the real estate went down to step number 4. I didn't spend the money. I took that money and I put it down to number 4. All our real estate, millions of dollars of the real estate went to number 4. I had a job and we lived off the money off my job. And then we invested part of that as well into the different things I just talked about. But the extra stuff, the side hustles, the real estate, that all went there. Network marketing. After my heart attack, I got some wonderful nutritional product from a friend. A friend actually gave me the product, got me started on it. And I was on that product for quite a while. And then I asked her, why are you doing this? And well, you know what? You can make money just by telling other people about it. Well, I like the product. And so I got involved with a network marketing company and I failed miserably twice. But then the third time, I figured it out. I really studied the 3% that were making it work, not the 97% the tire kickers. I actually the 3%. How did you do it? And really understood how they did it. And then we figured it out. If you're going to be in direct sales, you got to go enroll 100 people. And then you got to help them make money. And I go into that great detail into the book. And the books are free. Just go onto the website, go to courses, then go to the free downloads. And then you can download the Success and Money books where I talk about all that. Guess what? All that money goes right down into step number 4. It goes into my special needs son's trust. So he's got money and it's been going in there for decades. And then we give it to Warren Buffett and he makes us more money. Berkshire Hathaway stock. That's what you have to do if you're going to be successful. That's how you do it if you're going to make it all work. There is a strategy. There is a system if you want to change your stars. Many of you got some really bad cards. Guess what? You can discard those old cards and pick up new cards. All you got to do is go out in the world. You got to study successful people and you got to go make things happen. Do something, even if it's okay. I don't care if you make it, just do something and then learn from it and then do it again and then learn from it and do it again. Just don't stop and keep learning. That's how you change your stars. That's how you become financially independent. And guess what? Step number 3 is the most fun. You think it's the cars. Now, I've got a Ferrari in the garage and I've got an NSX and I've got sports cars and stuff like that. But you know what? I never drive them. I ride my bike because that makes me feel better. The funnest part I have is giving the money away. And your goal is to be able to give money away. You're going to learn, earn, and return in your lifetime. You're going to learn about things. You're going to earn and you're going to return. You're going to do all 3 of those your whole life. But sometime in your life, you're going to be older. Like I'm 64 right now, which I had no idea where that happened. Last time I remember I was 50, and before that I just remember I was 40. Going to come on you fast. And so right now I'm in the return mode. I'm trying to get rid of it. I'm trying to get rid of it and help as many people as I can, because that's why you were put on this earth. You were put on this earth to be able to help your brothers and sisters have a better life. And that's why we created the foundation. Now, the way that the foundation works is we need your help. I could have taken all that money and I could have just bought ads. But guess what? That's not helping you. The way we help you is to get those investment accounts going. That's how we help you. And so you can go to courses. And then number 1 is watch the Share the Wealth and Win video. You watch that, you're going to make some money into your vault. Number 2 is when you start sharing it. Every time you share it and you have those people watch it, they've got to watch the video, because that's the key, is to get them overviewed on what we do. You make money. You go through the Earn While You Learn classes. I've got the Money Made Easy program on there now. You can earn money on it. You can earn money by simply going to class through the 5 steps. You can go through it through Steve Gibson's classes, how to make more money with your small business. You can do it with advanced analysis and stock if you really want to get into that side of it, and really understand how it works, with James Fletcher. There's all kinds of ways that you can make money from us. Now, guess what? You don't need the money from us. That's not the thing. That's not really that important. What's important is you just get out there and do it. You get out there and do it. And if you need a little bit of help from us, then we're happy to help you. So that's what we do. So in closing, you can make a difference. You can make a difference. We want you to make a difference. You need to make it happen. You can't just sit around and wonder what happened. There's people that make it happen, and there's people that say, what happened? Your job is to go make it happen. And you got to remember that every life is precious. Every life is precious. People you see walking down the street, they're just like you. Believe it or not. They feel pain. They feel hunger. They feel good. They feel bad. They're trying to figure it out. And they're a spiritual being having an earthly experience. And some people are not having a great earthly experience. But it's a game. So let's go play that game. You are a miracle. As I've looked into and had health issues, my wife's had health issues. We have special needs children. You are a miracle. If you're just on this earth and you're alive, you are a miracle. You're a spiritual being having a physical body and a physical experience. So let's go have and play the game and make a difference. Your job is to make a difference. Make a difference, make it happen. Every life is precious. This has been Tom Painter for the SuccessMoneyFoundation.org.